Welcome to Jackie's Craft Table. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my blog and YouTube channel. I am one of the special guest designers for Scrapping for Less for December. I have a card project for you using some of the products from the Scrapping for Less shop. This is a 6x6 paper pad from Scrapping for Less, and it's called Fairy Garden. And this stamp set is from Gina K, and it's called Whimsical Wildflowers. If you've watched my channel in the past, you'll know that I am very, very fond of floral stamp sets and floral pattern paper. I'm going to pull this out for you and give you a closer look at all of these beautiful patterns. You get 4 of each. On one side, there is a floral pattern, and on the opposite side, you get a design like stripes or polka dots, or even a chevron. I just think these are all so gorgeous. It's a nice heavyweight paper with a beautiful sheen to it. I particularly love this pattern paper because when I have to readjust or fix my cards, which I often have to do, the papers come apart easily when you use your dot liner. They don't rip, if you're careful. I really love the chevron pattern there. They are just beautiful papers, and I had a hard time deciding which ones to use. But let's get into the card project now. I pulled out my mini Misty so that I could stamp up a few of these flowers and leaves. I chose to use this flower cluster because it has a nice shape to it. It can kind of curve around the edge of a card. I'm going to use some black dye ink to stamp these up. And I'm stamping them onto some Nina Solar White cardstock. I do stamp them up several times because I like a dark, crisp line. And then I pulled out my Prismacolor pencils to color these in. I'm going to color these in with some yellows and greens. And usually I get a smooth blend with my pencils. That's just how I like to color. But this time I decided to use flicking motions. This adds a fun striation to the flowers. I'm using darker colors at the base of each petal as well as at the tip. And then I'm leaving a little bit of a white highlight in the middle. On the second flower that I'm coloring in, I'm using lighter pencils. So my smallest flower is going to be just a tad darker. This helps mix it up a little bit, and it'll make the smaller flower appear more in the background, because the larger flower was drawn to be in front of it. I'm adding just a touch of pink to the small bud. And then for the leaves, I'm not doing the flicking motion for these. I'm just kind of getting a smooth blend between a dark and a light colored pencil. I'm coloring in the centers of these flowers with a chocolate brown colored pencil. I'm adding a little bit of yellow just for highlights. And then I color in the rest of the leaves off camera for the sake of time. But here are the finished flowers. I just love the look of this stamp set. I'm going to put it back into my mini Misty so that I can re-stamp my lines. This just helps to crisp up the lines a lot. If I can remember to do this, I always like to. Sometimes I'll forget and pull the stamps off the door of the mini Misty. But this time I remembered. I also fussy cut these images out off camera. And I pulled out my Fiskars paper trimmer to cut down some of these beautiful pattern papers. I'm going to stamp my sentiment onto a very pale piece of gray cardstock. The sentiments from this set are really beautiful. This one says, "If I had a flower for every time I thought of you, I could walk through my garden forever." And now to put this card together. There's nothing better, in my opinion, than florals and stripes together. It's like peanut butter and jelly for me. I just love it. So I'm going to use a piece of the floral pattern paper along with some of the striped pattern paper. I'm using my long, sharp scissors to cut off the excess. I just want to have the floral paper up in the top left corner. I think that looks so pretty together. And now for my little flowers piece. I'm just trying to decide where exactly I want that to be. I want a lot of the striped paper to be seen. I attached my sentiment to my flower cluster. And now I can glue on the extra leaves that I colored in just to make it a little bit fuller. I'm just using some liquid glue to do that. I debated adding another flower cluster to the top of my card to surround the sentiment completely. I think that would look really pretty and maybe color in the flowers pink. But I just stuck to my design. Before I adhere this piece, I'm going to attach the pattern paper to my white card base. I used some foam tape behind my flowers and my sentiment just to pop it up off the card. And then I can adhere that down onto my card panel. I think that looks so pretty. But I thought that it needed a little something extra, so I'm putting some gold metallic paper along the seams. I'm just attaching that down flat with some liquid glue. Once that's dry, I'll snip off the excess. I'm going to put both a vertical and a horizontal stripe of metallic paper on this card. It just adds a touch of sparkle to it. I think it finished it off really nicely. I decided I wanted the metallic strips of paper to be flush with my design paper, so I'm just gently pulling that up. I'm adding a few pink Nouveau drops around my card, and that completes this project. I just love how this one turned out. It's so beautiful. So check out the Scrapping for Less shop. I will have links below as well as over on my blog, and their prices are just amazing over there. And they have a lot of beautiful products. Thank you so much for watching, my crafty friends. I hope you all get a chance to have some crafty fun today. Have a wonderful day. Bye.